Nothing less from the commander of the Hawks Raiders. You're a... God damn it, that's weird for Captain Guts!
You did a good job.
Thanks, Captain Guts.
If I got a little carried away out there,
did.
I apologize.
Big ass knife. This man got a big ass knife. Guts got a big ass knife. This man got a big ass knife. This man got a... The Berserk series is top 10. Hands down. Don't at me. From the beautiful and incredibly detailed art of Kentaro Miura's manga, to the anime that spans a few different styles, some of which are ugly as shit, and even a few games, Berserk has been going strong for over 2 decades, and rightfully so. My goal is to share the series with you and help you dip your toes into the pools of blood of the series, so consider this a spoiler-free synopsis with a crash course on multiple ways you can start watching, reading, and playing. If you stick until the end of this video, after having explained the series and its multiple adaptations, I'll be giving you my opinion on the best way to experience it and in what order to do so. I'll also be giving you a special cheat code on how to watch the whole series in one quick go, if you see my explanations and think this series is for you. If you're ready, then all aboard the Blue Dragoon.
Tom from Toonami. You're listening to Sin 7.
Okay, how do I do this spoiler free? Berserk started as a manga back in 1989, written and illustrated by Kentaro Miura. If you haven't heard of Miura yet, this series is his shining star, but he's no slouch. Miura made his first manga at 10 years old, called Miu Ranger. Look at this artwork. That's ridiculous! You weren't doing this at 10 years old. You were eating kids' cuisine and getting dookie in your drawers, you clown! Go do something with your life! Miu Ranger was nothing crazy. It only ran about 40 volumes. A 10-year-old was spitting out 40 volumes of manga while you were picking your scabs you got from playing outside and eating them. Seriously, think about your life choices. By the time Miura made the prototype for the Berserk manga in '88, he was only out of high school for a few years. He got his stuff published in Weekly Shonen magazine and got into an art program as well. He tried to publish another manga, it got dropped, then he got another shot with Berserk, and now boom, I'm here talking to you. So now, let's talk about the anime. Berserk overall follows the story of a man named Guts, a mercenary with a horrible past who's seeking revenge for some bad stuff that happens to him during an event called the Eclipse. After the Eclipse, Guts has to go around killing demons and these super beefed up demon generals called the Apostles in hopes of one day coming across the God Hand again, who took everything from him, and getting his rematch against Femto, who really took everything from him. That's as far as I can go with the description without major, and I mean major, spoilers, but just know when I say tragic backstory, I mean tragic, and when I say they took everything, I mean everything. I'm skipping a lot of things like the Beylit, Nosferatu Zod, Griffith, Skull Knight, the Berserker armor, fairies, dragons, etc. Looks pretty interesting, right? Right. That's why you've made it this far. Now stick with me and trust me as we continue. The original Berserk anime came out in 1997, and that was Guts' first outing in adaptation. The 1997 anime covers the first 13 volumes of the manga and like a sliver of the Black Swordsman arc. The Black Swordsman arc is what Guts is up to right after the Eclipse. The Eclipse is such a massive story event in the series that I will be using it as a marker to explain the Berserk timeline. The Berserk 1997 anime is very good to look at, even though it cuts corners here and there, and you've probably even heard its excellent soundtrack and a few memes.
Silence, wench. I do not wish to be horny anymore. I just want to be happy.
Yep, that's the good old Berserk music. Okay, so after the 97 anime, what do we have? Well, we wouldn't have another anime adaptation until all the way in 2012. There were 2 games that came out in that gap. Sword of the Berserk Guts' Rage that came out in 2000 for the Sega Dreamcast, and Berserk Millennium Falcon Hensaima Senki no Sho for the PlayStation 2 in 04, which is clearly a Japanese exclusive. The Dreamcast game was doing its own thing. It takes place between volume 22 and 23 of the manga, so this is a good deal after the 97 anime. As for the PS2 game, who cares, I'm not importing it. Now, fast forwarding to 2012, Netflix released Berserk, the Golden Age arc, a collection of 3 films that retell the story of the first 13 volumes of the manga, just like in the 1997 anime. Since it was a film trilogy and not a 25-episode anime, a lot was cut that had appeared in the original anime, but I don't necessarily feel like it hinders the experience of the films. These films are beautiful, they're animated beautifully, all the characters get extra crispy designs, and they tell the story nicely. I love these films, and this is actually where I started the Berserk journey myself. If you're wondering why it's called the Golden Age arc, it's because there are names for each arc of Berserk, similar to any other anime. In order of how it appears in the manga, you have the Black Swordsman arc, a prologue to the series where we see Guts after the eclipse, the Golden Age arc, which serves as the backstory arc, where we see Guts before the eclipse, then the eclipse happens, the Conviction arc, they try to put this nigga in jail, the Falcon of the Millennium Empire arc, also commonly referred to as the Millennium Falcon arc because, come on, isn't it obvious? It makes it way more fun. Guts sees a ghost in this arc. And finally, the current arc that is ongoing as of 2020, the Fantasia arc. Goddamn Miura, stop stealing all these Disney properties. If I haven't lost you by now, thank God. That's a lot to take in, but remember, at the end of this video, I will be pointing you in the right direction, so no worries. You deserve a reward for making it this far, so seriously, stick around because I'm going to give you a big cheat code to watching the series that I don't see a lot of people talking about. Let's take a quick commercial break to process, and then we'll continue. We'll be right back.
The Black Swordsman has come.
What? The Black Swordsman?
He has finally come. The Black Swordsman.
Okay, so after the Netflix movies, there were 2 anime adaptations. We got Berserk 2016 and Berserk 2017.
A 2-pack
Not gonna lie, it's a 2-pack of ass. Don't get me wrong, it's still Berserk. It's faithful to the manga and tells the story well, but the animation is atrocious. It has awful sound design as well, with those trash-sounding clangs like this nigga's fighting with an oversized trash can. It's so gross it makes my brain hurt, especially since they had the blueprint with the Netflix films. I don't know what it is when you give studios a bunch of money and they mess up things that not only already existed, but have been done well. Like, how can you be that dumb with so much money involved? It's beyond me. Berserk 2017 covers the first half of the Millennium Falcon arc. Again, still very faithful, and while the anime has better animation at times, it's still garbage to look at. It's like you're eating the same trash, they just put some seasoning here and there. Fortunately, there was some light on the horizon with Berserk and the Band of the Hawk for PlayStation 3 in 2016 and PlayStation 4 in North America and Europe in 2017. This game is God's gift to all Berserk fans. Jesus Christ himself wept tears while watching Berserk 2016. Those tears fell from the heavens onto my PS4 and seeped into the console to bring me this game. This game has everything. It covers the entire story and surprisingly goes pretty far into it. I'm talking far, like it covers about 32 volumes of the manga. Not only that, but it's a great game. If you like Dynasty Warriors, then this may be the game for you, because this is a Musou game, aka a game where you fight hordes and hordes of enemies as different characters. The character selection in this game isn't too crazy, but there's different game modes that allow you to use them more, seeing as for most of the story missions you'll be playing as Guts. In the beginning of the game, when it's covering the Golden Age arc, it actually uses cutscenes from the Netflix films at certain times. Otherwise, the cutscenes are done in your basic video game CG that looks great. This game is awesome. Trust me, I got my hands in every nook and cranny of content it had to offer. And it covers a huge chunk of story. Obviously, not as well as the manga or the anime could, but nothing to laugh at either. And with all that said, and no new big Berserk projects to speak on, where do you start? First, I'll give you my order, then I'll give you the cheat code. So I would say, watch the 3 Netflix films, then play Berserk in the Band of the Hawk. Watching the 97 anime is optional. Now, I would strongly advise you to read the manga. I strongly advise you to, but if you're like me, you don't always have time to sit and read, as you need that interactive or visually stimulating medium to keep your brain focused. In other words, if you ain't playing or it ain't moving, it ain't working. However, since the 2016 and 2017 anime is kakapupu, how do we get over that if you want to continue the story? Well, there's a cheat code called Berserk Redux. Berserk Redux is a fan-made supercut of the entire Berserk franchise. It takes the Netflix films, the 2016 and 2017 anime, and the Musou game and puts it all into one big series. There are currently 10 episodes, and each one is about an hour to a bit over an hour long. Not only does this cover all the current anime adaptations, but it fixes huge problems with the 2016 and 2017 anime, like the awful sound effects, the music, and even some story mistakes that are taken out to keep the context closer to the manga. The footage may be the Netflix films at one moment, then cut to the original footage, then another cut to the game footage, but it's edited very well, and I didn't find the cuts to the different mediums to be an issue at all really. I'm not sure if the actual creation of the series is to be credited to the Reddit user Mighty Doomgiver or the Vimeo uploader Sean Miller, but either way, there is a link to donate to the efforts of the fan edit. So you can find that in the description below, along with the link to the Reddit post that has the link to each episode. So, my newborn Berserk babies. My final verdict is, watch the Berserk Netflix films, play the Musou game, watch Berserk Redux, then finally, pick up the manga, in that order. If you don't want to play the game, or don't have money to buy it, or PS4, or whatever reason, then I'd say Netflix films, then Redux, then the manga. If you're strictly a reader, then the manga is peak fiction, peak artwork, and peak story. You will not be disappointed if you decide to engage in its current whopping 362 chapters. If you don't feel like reading the manga for some off reason because that kid's cuisine is currently overheating in the microwave and you gotta go, watching Berserk Redux or playing the PS4 game are the best ways to get huge chunks of the story out of the way. Watching the Netflix films alone is not a good enough way to get the gist of the series, seeing as that's only just the beginning and doesn't scratch the surface of what this series turns into. If you made it to the end of this video, I thank you. I'm not asking you to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm asking you to get into Berserk, goddammit! But just know that those 3 things, along with sharing this video, really helps me out. For the Berserk fans that have already watched the series and are watching this video, thank you as well. I'll be making something for the fans soon with tons of spoilers and analysis, so keep those eyes peeled and those dragon slayers sharpened. Until next time, see you later, Black Swordsman. Where's the outro? Does it only play when I say see you later, Space Cowboy? Oh, there it is. Unbelievable. Shame on me for trying something new. I'm out of here.